breaking news here, actually. The finance ministry has just made an announcement that remember, there were 34% tariffs on all US goods coming into China. That's now been increased to 84%. An 84% hit on all US goods coming into China. Obviously, that's a clear blow to every US company wanting to sell into this huge market. It, no doubt, is going to.
Welcome on into another episode of the Healthy Discussions show. And today we're talking about China. China decided to hit back. First, America imposed 104% on them in total. Now, China said, hold on, wait a minute. We have some power too. 84% tax. Now, this could be good to some folks, or this could be bad for some folks, right? I've learned how to adjust and make money while the market is going down. Some people make money while the market is going up, or you can decide to do both, right? To me, this is good news to my ear, bad news for everyone else. But I'm here to tell you that it's all about, see, they're using these tariffs, right? But it's all about monetary tactics, meaning that whoever run the money, Rothschild once said, give me control of the money and I care not who make the laws, right? They're controlling for the money sequence right now. That's all that they're doing. Now, mostly things are made or exported from China to the United States. That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. But if we don't buy, then they don't make. So this can be beneficial to the United States. I think that the United States have they have the cards, they have the power right now, because consumption, no matter how you look at it, without people consuming your products, your services, it's no point of making them. Only thing people are going to do is just keep their money. But continue to watch this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Hit the bell notification as well. Hit the AirTag EMF protector if you want to support this channel a bit more. Let's continue. Let me know what you think about these tariffs. China just hit back.
Send more shockwaves through, I imagine, the markets, especially in the US. But like I say, especially hurting any American company wanting to sell into this market. There may well be other measures. The other thing that was mentioned in that statement is that Beijing is taking the Trump administration to the WTO. We sort of knew that before, though, the World Trade Organization. But there may be more measures to come. That's just been flashed right now, as I say. So, you know, it's on. There's no backing down from the Chinese government. They said there would be resolute countermeasures if Donald Trump made good on his promise to increase the US tariff on Chinese goods to a minimum of 104%. And so we're seeing that. We're seeing the beginnings of that. Now, you know, what's Donald Trump going to do in the face of yet another increase from here? Where does it stop? I mean, the Chinese government, for example, has been...
Put a one in the chat if you believe that the United States will actually up the antes and increase the tariff to 150 to 200%. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe that they're going to come to some form of mutual agreement in a couple of days to make sure that both parties are satisfied. See, this right here, yes, you can read the headlines and people can panic. And will this affect the stock market and the bonds and everything else? Another thing I wanted to say, talking about bonds, not only did they raise their tax, the Chinese raised their tax to 84%, right? Taxing the United States. They also have been selling bonds, which means that once they sell bonds, see, the thing about China that people don't understand is this. China has a weak currency. The yen is very weak compared to the US dollar, which is mighty strong. In order for the yen to be tradable again and gain its strength, the US dollar has to go down, which will be in the benefit of Trump, because then the interest rates and everything else, right? So I think the negotiation tactics that both are playing, they're going to end up benefiting off of it. So is the US as well, when all the smoke clears. We're at the beginning of the showdown. This is round one. When 104 pounds, you have the United States. When 84 pounds, you have, or 84%, you have China. Alongside with 84%, they have some bonds. I mean, they're selling a lot of bonds as well. And I've been telling people on my channel for a while that it's going to be a war, right? Economical war for Bitcoin, because that's going to be the new digital backed, federally backed reserve of the entire world. That's why nations are racing to it, right? So let's just see what will happen and what will take place. But leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Are you buying the dip or are you waiting?
Been saying over the last couple of days that from its point of view, the Trump administration has shown no inclination whatsoever to enter into negotiations. Today, via its sort of proxies, I suppose, state media reporters on their social media platforms, it's been kind of ridiculing the fact that other countries are going with the begging bowl to Washington and saying, oh, please, Donald Trump, can you take these tariffs off us? They're saying this is playing right into Donald Trump's hands, that actually he wants to pick off countries one by one. And the contrast that's being made here is that Beijing says it supports multilateral trade efforts whereby rules apply to everybody. And, there would be some.
Just like Canada had to come to the table, right, with some form of agreement, I think China will come to the table with some form of agreement. This is just a showdown right now, a Xiaoming showdown right now. But just like the EU, the European nation, they came to an agreement. So obviously, whatever Trump is doing right now, the tactics are working. But of course, the immediate effect, it could be things on the downside. But as far as the long term, I believe that these tariffs give him the ability and or the power to then negotiate and actually to add income and add some form of income to the United States. And it can be billions and trillions of dollars over the next 2 to 4 years. So I think that he playing basketball. He's playing ball for sure.
Some sympathy for that, especially in Southeast Asian countries.
There's DIY and there's
He's definitely playing ball for sure. And I believe that alongside with that, people might not understand it for right now, but later on you will. I'm sure that you will.
Cambodia, Vietnam, they've been hit very hard by tariffs from the US. And funnily enough, in a meeting today, Xi Jinping said that China has to increase its trade with, guess where? Its neighboring countries, those very same countries. So you can see that they're trying to make something good out of the trade chaos that's coming, from this onslaught from the Trump administration.
Yeah, I mean, that news literally coming into you as we asked you that question, Stephen. We're just going to keep you there for a second, but show you the DAX, the German index there, because you can see on the screen as that news just came in, a steep drop there in the German markets. And
well, you know that the DAX, this is a good thing, because if the DAX go down, see, I'm invested into crypto and they call that high risk assets, right? Which means if the DAX go down, other prices may go up. I still have crypto in the whole market, the stock market dipping based on the news, and give it a couple of days for it to actually digest, right? Give it a couple of days for these things to digest. Just because you hear it today, it don't mean that you look at your portfolio and next thing you know. And think about people who have 401k. Oh, they're getting a beating right now because, first of all, you allow someone to manage your money. And last time I checked, the best person to manage your money is you, no one else, because they're just going to let it fall down all the 20 years, 15 years. Now you got to gain that back. Now, if you do nothing, it should come back to what it originally was, but that may take time, right? That may take time. That's why it's good to have access to your money or your portfolio so you can learn how to, you know what? If Warren Buffett, just follow the big fish right here, right? If Warren Buffett had $330 billion on the side, cash, he liquidated a couple of positions. You don't think that these people know what's coming? Just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. Leave your thoughts down below. Leave your thoughts down below, because this made headlines, and I was telling people, if Warren Buffett have cash on the side, I think everyone should have cash on the side. It only makes sense. It only makes sense. This man is an expert trader. He buys low and he sells high. That's it. That's simply it. He don't complicate it. He don't day trade. He don't swing trade. He don't play options. He don't do any of those things. He say he don't invest in crypto, but I found that he actually does, not directly, but somewhat indirectly, because he invests in Bank of America, which Bank of America owns XRP patent and some crypto patents as well. So that's a whole nother thing. And a lot of these companies will have Bitcoin on their what? Balance sheet at the end of the day. Let's continue.
And we're hearing on the Reuters news agency that US stock index futures have turned sharply lower after China announced those additional tariff measures on US goods. So, of course, this is a fast-moving story. Stephen, just to remind our viewers really of the scale of this, how important is US-China trade? So much of what people use in both countries comes from the other.
Yeah, I mean,
I look at it as if it's this. U.S. without China is like China without the U.S. We've been playing this. We've been having this relationship with each other for a while. It's not going to stop now, people. Like, read in between the lines. It's not going to stop now. Let them get their ego out the way. Let Trump get his ego out the way. Let the Chinese president get their ego out the way. Because at the end of the day, they're going to come together around that round table and have a healthy discussion about what needs to be done. Both parties going to shake hands, and then we are back. Just that simple. Like I say, whoever control the money, control the world, right? Right now, they're going to have a debate, or they're going to see, hey, what mutual agreements can we make that you're winning and I'm winning too? Like I say, the Chinese yuan is weak. It is super weak. You can go to China right now. I don't drink, but you can go to China right now and get 3 shots for $5. You can't go to the United States right now and get 3 shots for $5. It's not happening, Captain. It's not. So saying it all to say, their money over there is weak. Our money over here is super strong. We have a lot of money over there as well. It's tied up into bonds and treasuries. Treasury notes. What is China doing right now? Selling those things. It's going to inflict some form of effect on our market. What else are they going to do? Play the tariff game. They also have connection to the BRICS nation. Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia. They also own Bitcoin. The thing about it that I thought about it with China is like they kind of played themselves again, because that's why I said the United States is going to win on this one, right? Because y'all know they used to say that Bitcoin mining was illegal in China. Now the United States want to make sure that it's actually legal, because it's a democracy and you get to innovate. In China, you don't get to innovate without authoritarian figures or authoritarian approvals. My bad, tongue twister. Authoritarian approval. Basically, the authority. A dictatorship saying, hey, this is what you can do. This is what we're not going to allow you to do. Because if you allow the people to own something that they control and their own keys, and the government can't control it, then guess what? More power goes to the people. The thing about the United States, what they have done is said, you know what, we're going to let you guys own these things. Because first, you remember, we was against it just a couple of years ago. Now we want to be the crypto capital of the world. Let that sink in. And like I say, all of these things is tactics to get us to move to CBDC, which is getting us to move to a digital dollar or a digital currency. All of this is smoke to me. When you put your feelings aside and you read in between the lines, they're smoking a lot right now. The China is smoking a lot, and the United States is smoking a lot. They need to stop. Right now, this is a show. It is a Xiaoming showdown. That's all I'm saying. I hear what they saying, but at the end of the day, one don't work without the other. Come on now. If everyone don't know that and anyone don't know that, and y'all don't know what's going on, just from a macroeconomical point of view. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Let's finish this video on out, because if we don't, my God.
Absolutely enormous. And you can imagine why such an announcement would, end up in causing such huge drop-offs in stocks, even in other countries, because you've got the global superpowers at each other's throats, enormous volumes of trade from one country to another. And remember, they're both building things with components that come from each other's countries. And so if you're putting a tariff on one country, you're also hurting your own manufacturing. So, all these American companies, Donald Trump says, no worries, people are just going to buy American. Well, those cars and what have you, they're still using widgets that are possibly coming out of China. They've got to pay more for that now, the car producers. And so this is why the ripples are being felt all over the world. And it's why the shock of yet another announcement from China, responding yet again to more tariffs from Donald Trump, would be causing so much angst, especially when it comes to, analysts, economists. They're saying this is all disastrous for the global economy.
Yeah, Stephen, we're still getting more information from China's Commerce Ministry, and I appreciate you've been talking to me, so you've been unable to see this. But I'm just going to read out what we've got in front of us. Yeah. It says that the Commerce Ministry has added 6 US entities to the unreliable entity list, and also says the Commerce Ministry has added 12 US entities to the export control list. Of course, I appreciate I'm just throwing this at you now, but if there's anything you can read into that.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day 1.
Me, I will pause them, and then I will put it on mute and continue my program. But let me know what you guys think about the tariffs. That's all I want to know. Let me know what you guys think.
Well, this is what happened last time. This is the combination of last time that 34% was whacked on all US goods. There was also an extra bunch of companies added to this unreliable trading list. Now, normally that's someone who is either doing some sort of trade that involves Taiwan or Hong Kong or something that's upset Beijing. And so they're using that as an excuse to whack these companies onto those lists. And basically that blocks you from trading here. It could see the people involved in that being sanctioned by Beijing if they try to do some sort of trading with China. But what China has done, though, because it hasn't, there's more Chinese trade going into the US than the other way. So what's Beijing going to do? It can't exactly match the overall hit on tariffs. So it'll.
Stephen, that was a good one. That's a good one. Let's explain that to the people. There are more products that's going from China to the United States. There are less products that's going from the United States to China, which means that China export more products than the United States import their products, which means that if push comes to shove, who you guys think is really going to lose this one? The China man has lost this one. It's just common sense. They have lost this one. This is what the United States citizen is going to do. If we're under some form of recession, you know what that means? They're just simply not going to spend their money. You might have to cut back on a couple of things. Hey, it's about time. We've been privy to have whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want it, at whatever time that we need it. If they don't sell to the United States, a lot of nations won't even be rich because they can mark these prices up 10x, 20x, 30x, 40x, 50x, 60x, 100x. They can mark these prices on up. A pair of jeans might cost $6 to actually make. By the time they get to the United States, these same pair of jeans cost $1,000. We talking about in Mary's. So the question would then be, who's really on the winning side of this? Who's on the opposite side of this door? I think the United States is in a very strategic position. because the world need us to consume. I guess that's what they call us, the consumers, because we don't produce anything. And if we begin to produce, let's not say anything, we produce some things, but we produce probably 20% of the things that's going on in the production market, and everyone else produces 80%. But we consume 80% while they produce what they consume only 20%. So look at there. Think about it. I really want people to sit back and think about it. That's why I say stalemate. Next, go on and raise the limits again, because at the end of the day, I purposely say that they're trying to crash the market so the Feds can come in and cut interest rates. And when they cut interest rates, the markets is going to kaboom. It's just that simple. And I'm waiting on it to kaboom. Have no fear. Healthy Discussion show is here. If you're not putting yourself in a position to kaboom, I'm talking about puts, calls, dollar cost averaging to these things, then what we doing here? Investing and hedging against the dollar, Bitcoin, crypto, things like that. Hedge against it. Become your own hedge fund. Just saying. It's the greatest time to be alive to me. Greatest money transfer in the world. One day you may have a little. The next day you may have a lot. Welcome to the United States of America, and welcome to the internet, and welcome to macroeconomics, and welcome to world trade. Let's finish this out. Stephen, finish this out, Stephen.
Cherry pick things that it decides might really hurt the US, especially hurt into Donald Trump's heartland. That's why they struck last time at the agricultural sector. And it might happen again. We could see more moves that they've flagged in social media this week via state media reporters that could be something else the Chinese government might consider. Yet more moves to block agricultural products. Now, so far, unless I'm not seeing that, but it doesn't seem to have come out so far as part of these latest moves announced tonight. But that could be something we see down the road. So China has more options. If Donald Trump ups the ante again, applies even more tariffs on top of the minimum 104% on all Chinese goods, well, they've still got other weapons they can use. And I should add, the difference with China and other countries is this is a big, resolute economy with a huge domestic market. And so the government here has been saying we can ride this out. Certainly, that's so much more true than other countries. I mentioned these Southeast Asian countries that are going to be very badly hit by these tariffs. It makes it so much harder for Washington to be bullying Beijing because of the power of this economy. And, you can imagine other countries looking.
Pay attention to the keyword that he used, bullying. The United States have been doing these tactics for so long that it's normal. They have been doing these tactics for so long because they understand what position they actually hold. Why you think when what's this guy from Ukraine, when he came into the Trump's office, Trump was like, "You guys don't have any cards. I have all the cards." It's the reason why he said that, right? Y'all playing the United States game. EA Sports is in the game. You guys are playing the United States game. So you know what they say about if you're playing in the house rule is what? House always win. Let's continue.
Looking at Beijing taking a stance against the Trump administration, and actually they'd be calculating they might be getting some sort of political support from certain areas, by virtue of the fact that they're standing up to the US on this, and that might even lead to greater trade with other countries, and which making up for the loss for Chinese companies that not selling in the same volumes into the US.
Okay, guys, I left the let me make sure I copy and paste that, and I put that inside of the description. You guys can check the video out as well and do your own research. It's underneath source. I appreciate everyone for tuning on in today. We just had a good conversation on what's going on with these tariffs. China decided to hit back on these tariffs. That's good. It shows that China have some form of kahunas, and they have some form of strength. And I kind of like it because it's going to tank the market a little bit more so people can buy in on things at 2020 prices and stuff along that nature, right? You got to learn how to create positivity out of negativity. You must learn how to do that because life is going to throw what it's going to throw at you. What you going to do about it? That's the thing. That's all that matters. How you going to react to it, right? Are you going to be very calculative? That's what I want to know. So on that note, peace, blessings, and love. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. You guys know how I like to end it. Positivity over negativity.